AllSides is pretty much what the name says. It gives people the ability to go to one place and see all sides or all perspectives of the news, issues, whatever you like. And it does that just by bringing all those different perspectives in one place. So I can see the news from the left, center, or right. Or I can see a particular issue, pension reform, or even health issues in the future, like how should I treat my cancer. All the different perspectives, all in one place, all at allsides.com, so you can decide for yourself.
And why did you decide to create this company?
Well, I think I'm like everybody else. We're overwhelmed with the constant chatter, the 24-hour news cycle, all the chatter and noise, and sometimes yelling, often very biased, online. How do you filter through all of that noise and have a clue of what's going on? I almost feel like we are less informed now than we ever have been because there's so much noise we don't know our heads from our tails. That's why we have AllSides. We can filter through all that noise and present to people the different perspectives all in one place concisely so you can figure out what's going on and decide for yourself.
And why do you think there's no site out there like this already?
Well, it's not that easy if you think about it. How can you decide what is this point of view versus that point of view automatically? We actually developed a pretty complicated algorithm, a bias rating technology, so that through the crowd input, we can basically approximate what America thinks is the perspective of this source or that source or a different source. So we could say in general this group is left, and in general this group is center, or in general this is right. And by doing that, and doing that over and over again with a lot of people in the crowd verifying that we're doing it correctly, we can automatically pull out, here's one opinion, and here's the different opinion for you to, so you can look at both of them.
And John, what is your background, and why does it make, why did you decide to be a co-founder of this type of company?
Well, I'm kind of a mixture of technology. I was with Netscape early on when we first launched Mozilla. I was also, back in the 80s, involved in politics, and I've done some startups in between. What I found is it was amazing that I think despite all the work I've done in nonprofits or whatever, that the work I did in technology with Netscape, with the browser, probably impacted the world more than anything else I've done. And so here I'm using technology to impact the world, so everybody has tools to make better decisions for themselves.
And you told us a bit about your experience at Netscape. Can you tell us about when you heard that they would go open source and build Mozilla?
You know, I remember that very clearly. It was kind of a startling thought. I remember being brought in a room with a few people and saying that's what we were going to do. Now, I was at Microsoft before that, so I definitely had different opinions of how do we fight that kind of competition between our browser and their browser. It's such a vivid thing. At first I was, oh my gosh, we're going open source. We're going to reveal everything to the whole web for free. And then about 10, 15 minutes later, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was completely bought in and been on that bandwagon about crowd and open source and transparency ever since then.
And where do you think crowdsourcing is going?
Well, I think there's both crowdsourcing and crowd wisdom. There's a lot of crowdsourcing that is done wrong. It's just a lot of noise. And noise doesn't really help us decide things. It helps people vent. But when I go online, I'm not interested in listening to everybody vent. I'm interested in deciding or learning things. And so that's one of the keys for our technology that we fight, is how to bring the wisdom of the crowd together so you can see the different perspectives without being overwhelmed with a bunch of chatter and noise.
And do you think that crowdsourcing gives you the ability to bring together important data?
Absolutely. And it also makes it more credible. It's not our agenda. We're not telling people what to think. We're not telling people who's this way or that way. It's really the crowd to represent America. It's their perspective that matters, and it's their wisdom that makes it possible to filter all this information into something that's very easy for us to take care of and understand.
And if people want to know more about AllSides, where do they go?
AllSides.com. As simple as that.